Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that can truly transform our lives. It's not always easy, but it's necessary, controlling the four powerful forces that shape our daily experiences: our mouth, mood, money, and mind. We often hear about controlling our actions or learning to make better decisions, but the truth is that the things we say, the way we feel, our financial habits, and the way we manage our thoughts have the power to dictate the quality of our lives. These forces are within our control, but we often allow them to run unchecked, influencing us in ways we don't always understand. Let's break it down and explore how mastering these four areas can empower us to live more fulfilled, intentional lives. Our words are far more powerful than we often realize. They have the ability to build or break, to heal or hurt, to inspire or deflate. The words we choose to speak shape the reality we live in, the relationships we nurture, and the way we experience the world around us. When we speak without thought or intention, we risk creating unnecessary conflict, misunderstanding, and emotional harm, both to others and to ourselves. But when we speak with purpose, our words become a tool for positive change. At the core of speaking with purpose is the understanding that communication is not just about conveying information, it's about creating connection. It's about ensuring that the message we want to deliver is clear, kind, and aligned with our deepest values. We are not just sharing thoughts or facts, we are influencing the people we speak to, the situations we are in, and the way we see ourselves. Every word we utter has the potential to build the world we want to live in. The impact of words on relationships. I think for a moment about your most meaningful relationships. What makes them strong and enduring? More often than not, it's the way people speak to one another. It's the way we listen with empathy, the way we validate each other's feelings, and the way we offer words of encouragement, respect, and support. But words can also have the opposite effect. In moments of frustration, anger, or impatience, our words can become weapons, sharp, cutting, and damaging. It is in these moments that we must be most aware of what we say, because words spoken in haste or in anger often lead to regret. When we speak with purpose, we are able to pause and reflect before responding. We can choose our words carefully, ensuring that they align with our intentions and the respect we have for others. This doesn't mean that we suppress our feelings or pretend that everything is okay when it's not. Speaking with purpose means that we express ourselves honestly and openly, but in a way that promotes understanding, fosters connection, and creates a safe space for others to do the same. It's about being intentional with the energy we bring into a conversation. Words are a reflection of our inner world. Our words are often a mirror of our inner state. When we feel anxious, overwhelmed, or uncertain, our language may reflect those emotions. We might speak in short, clipped sentences, lash out at others, or express frustration in a way that harms relationships. On the other hand, when we are at peace, confident, and grounded, our words tend to be more measured, calm, and constructive. They reflect a sense of self-assuredness and clarity. By controlling our mouth and speaking with purpose, we create an opportunity for introspection. We can recognize when our words are being driven by fear, insecurity, or stress, and choose to shift our mindset before we speak. This is not about suppressing our feelings or pretending to be something we are not. Rather, it's about understanding where our words are coming from and being responsible for the energy they carry. If we find that our words are influenced by negative emotions, we can take a step back, center ourselves, and choose to speak in a way that aligns with our higher values: peace, kindness, and integrity. Speaking with purpose in difficult conversations. One of the most challenging aspects of controlling our mouth is speaking with purpose during difficult conversations. These are the moments when our emotions run high, and our instinct is to react impulsively. Whether we are having a disagreement with a loved one, a colleague, or even a stranger, these situations often feel like high-stakes exchanges. Our egos can get involved, and the desire to be right can override our desire for connection. In these moments, speaking with purpose requires us to slow down and recognize the importance of our words. Instead of firing back with an immediate response, we can choose to take a deep breath, listen actively, and respond from a place of understanding. We can acknowledge the emotions at play without letting them control our words. For instance, we might say, "I hear what you're saying, and I can see how this is important to you." Let me take a moment to reflect on that before I respond. This simple shift in how we approach difficult conversations can create space for empathy, reduce defensiveness, and foster a more constructive dialogue. The power of silence. Speaking with purpose does not always mean speaking more. Sometimes it means speaking less. Silence is a powerful tool in communication. In moments where words fail or when emotions run too high, choosing silence can be an act of great intention. It gives us the time to reflect, to process, and to make sure that what we say next is truly aligned with our values. Silence can also create a safe space for others to speak and be heard. By listening attentively and not rushing to fill the silence with our own words, we give others the opportunity to share their perspective. This fosters trust and strengthens relationships. The role of listening and speaking with purpose. Effective communication is a two-way street. While speaking with purpose is crucial, so too is listening with intention. Listening is just as much an act of control as speaking. When we truly listen without interrupting, without planning our next response, and without judgment, we create the conditions for deeper understanding. Listening with purpose shows respect and allows us to craft our responses more thoughtfully. By taking the time to listen carefully, we are better equipped to choose our words wisely, ensuring that our speech serves to strengthen the connection rather than break it. Speak with integrity. Finally, speaking with purpose is also about speaking with integrity. This means that the words we speak are aligned with our true selves and our values. Integrity requires that we speak honestly, even when the truth is difficult or uncomfortable. It means choosing to communicate in a way that reflects who we are, even when it's easier to say what others want to hear or hide behind pleasantries. Integrity in our speech is about being authentic and transparent. It requires courage because sometimes the truth can be uncomfortable. But when we speak with integrity, we create a foundation of trust that allows us to connect with others on a deeper level. People know when we are being authentic, and they appreciate the honesty and clarity that comes with it. Conclusion, the power of thoughtful speech. To control our mouth is to understand the weight of our words and to use them with purpose, respect, and intention. It's about speaking with clarity, kindness, integrity, while also being mindful of the impact our words can have on those around us. When we learn to speak with purpose, we begin to see our relationships, our work, and our lives transform. We realize that we are not just responding to the world, we are actively shaping it through the words we choose. The act of speaking with purpose is not a one-time decision, it is a practice, a daily choice to be aware of how we communicate and the energy we bring into the world. By doing so, we open the door to deeper connections, greater understanding, and a more fulfilling life. Our moods are a natural part of who we are. They are signals that reflect our internal state, our perceptions, and our reactions to the world around us. Sometimes our moods are light and uplifting, other times they can be dark and heavy. Yet the challenge isn't necessarily in experiencing a wide range of emotions, it's in learning how to navigate those emotions in a healthy, constructive way. This is where emotional regulation comes in. Emotional regulation refers to our ability to manage and respond to our emotions in a way that is productive and aligned with our values. It is not about suppressing or denying emotions, but about understanding them and using them to guide our actions rather than letting them control us. To control our mood means to embrace emotional regulation, which allows us to handle life's ups and downs with resilience, clarity, and self-awareness. The nature of emotions. Emotions are powerful. They come from deep within, often triggered by external events, internal thoughts, or even memories. They can be intense and unpredictable, and at times they can feel overwhelming. But emotions are also valuable. They are part of what makes us human. They serve as messengers, alerting us to our needs, desires, and boundaries. They help us to connect with others, understand ourselves, and navigate our environment. However, just because emotions are valid does not mean they should dictate our behavior. Without regulation, our emotions can lead to impulsive reactions, poor decisions, and strained relationships. Unregulated moods can cause us to lash out in anger, shut down in fear, or withdraw in sadness, often without considering the long-term consequences of our actions. The key to emotional regulation lies in understanding that our feelings don't need to control our actions. By learning to respond thoughtfully to our moods, we can ensure that our emotional state doesn't hijack our decisions, relationships, or overall well-being. The importance of self-awareness. The first step in emotional regulation is cultivating self-awareness. This involves tuning into our feelings and recognizing when our mood is shifting. Are we feeling stressed, anxious, irritated, happy, sad? The more aware we become of our emotional states, the more control we have over them. We cannot manage what we are unaware of. When we become attuned to our moods, we are better equipped to recognize the early signs of emotional changes. For example, if we feel a rising sense of frustration during a difficult conversation, we can catch it before we react impulsively. If we feel a surge of anxiety before a big presentation, we can address it with calming techniques before it spirals into panic. Self-awareness allows us to pause and take a step back before reacting, giving us the space to choose a more intentional response. It also helps us identify patterns in our emotional life. Do certain triggers consistently evoke a strong emotional response? By identifying these triggers, we can prepare ourselves better and reduce their impact over time without understanding the source of your emotions. One of the keys to emotional regulation is understanding the root cause of our emotions. Often we experience moods that are more complex than they appear on the surface. Our feelings are not just reactions to the immediate situation, they are shaped by our past experiences, our expectations, and our beliefs about the world. For example, when we feel anger, it might not just be because someone said something hurtful to us. It could also be tied to a deeper sense of frustration about being misunderstood, unheard, or disrespected. When we feel sadness, it may stem from a deeper fear of loss, abandonment, or unfulfilled desires. The more we understand the source of our emotions, the better we can address them in a constructive way. When we take the time to identify the underlying causes of our emotional reactions, we can make sense of what is happening within us. Are we reacting to something that happened today, or is this mood connected to unresolved feelings from the past? Once we pinpoint the source, we are better able to approach the emotion with understanding and compassion, which allows us to regulate our response and prevent it from overtaking us. While it's important to understand and acknowledge our emotions, it's equally important to have tactical strategies for managing them. Here are a few techniques for emotional regulation and deep breathing. One of the simplest and most effective ways to regulate intense emotions is through deep breathing. When we feel overwhelmed, our breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. By consciously slowing down our breath, we send a signal to our body to relax, reducing the intensity of the emotion. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 counts, hold the breath for 7 counts, and exhale for 8 counts. Repeat several times until you feel more centered. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness involves staying present in the moment without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can detach from the intensity of our emotions and simply observe them. This allows us to accept our feelings without letting them dictate our actions. Meditation, too, is a helpful tool for calming the mind and resetting our emotional state. Even a few minutes of meditation can help create the space needed to regulate our emotions effectively. Reframing negative thoughts. Often our moods are driven by the thoughts we have about a situation. By reframing negative or distorted thoughts, we can change how we feel. For example, if we're feeling anxious about a challenge at work, we can reframe our thoughts to view the situation as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. Reframing involves challenging unhelpful thoughts and choosing a perspective that serves us better emotionally. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can provide an emotional release and help process difficult emotions. By journaling, we can untangle complex emotions, gain clarity on their causes, and reflect on how we want to respond. This practice of self-expression helps us release pent-up feelings, making it easier to regulate our moods. Physical exercise. Physical activity is a powerful way to rate emotions. Exercise releases endorphins, which are natural mood boosters. Whether it's going for a walk, doing yoga, or engaging in a more intense workout, moving your body can help release tension, reduce stress, and improve your emotional state. Taking breaks. When emotions are running high, taking a short break from the situation can be incredibly beneficial. This could mean stepping away from a heated conversation, taking a walk to clear your mind, or simply finding a quiet space to regain composure. When we remove ourselves from emotionally charged situations, we give ourselves the chance to recalibrate and approach the situation with a calmer perspective. Seeking support, sometimes emotional regulation, requires the help of others. Talking to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist can provide perspective, comfort, and validation. Sharing our feelings with someone who listens empathetically can help us feel heard and understood, which in turn helps to regulate our emotional state. One of the most important aspects of emotional regulation is self-compassion. It's easy to get frustrated with ourselves when our emotions feel overwhelming or out of control. However, self-compassion is the antidote to this self-criticism. It involves treating ourselves with the same kindness, care, and understanding that we would offer to a close friend in moments of emotional distress. When we practice self-compassion, we allow ourselves to experience difficult emotions without judgment. Instead of beating ourselves up for feeling sad, angry, or anxious, we acknowledge that these feelings are part of the human experience. This compassionate mindset helps us regulate our emotions by reducing shame and fostering emotional resilience. Emotional regulation is not about avoiding emotions or pretending that everything is okay. It's about developing the resilience to face our emotions with grace and understanding. It's about becoming the observer of our emotional experience rather than being consumed by it. Through regular practice of emotional regulation techniques, we build emotional resilience, which allows us to handle even the most challenging emotions with strength and clarity. Resilience is not about never feeling upset or overwhelmed. It's about being able to recover from those feelings more quickly with a deeper sense of self-awareness and empowerment. Emotional regulation helps us cultivate this resilience, allowing us to move through life's ups and downs with greater ease and control. Learning to control our mood and embrace emotional regulation is one of the most empowering skills we can develop. It doesn't mean we won't experience challenging emotions. It means that we have the tools to respond to those emotions in a way that supports our well-being and personal growth. By practicing emotional regulation, we can create a life that is more intentional, balanced, and aligned with our core values. Emotions are powerful, but with self-awareness, mindfulness, and compassion, we can learn to guide them rather than be guided by them. You said money, for better or worse, plays a significant role in our lives. It shapes the opportunities we have, influences our sense of security, and impacts our overall well-being. Despite its importance, many of us struggle to manage it effectively. We may live paycheck to paycheck, accumulate debt, or lack a clear strategy for saving and investing. However, the key to financial freedom is not simply about earning more money. It's about developing financial wisdom, the ability to make thoughtful, informed decisions about how we spend, save, invest, and plan for the future. Building financial wisdom requires a shift in perspective. It means moving from a mindset of scarcity or financial anxiety to one of control, intentionality, and empowerment. When we take charge of our financial life, we unlock greater freedom, reduce stress, and create the conditions to live a more fulfilling and secure life. The importance of financial awareness. The first step toward building financial wisdom is developing financial awareness. This involves gaining a clear understanding of where you stand financially. It's easy to avoid thinking about money, especially when it feels overwhelming or when we don't want to face our financial reality. However, avoiding financial awareness only perpetuates uncertainty and anxiety. It's to control your money. You must know exactly where it is going. Start by tracking your income and expenses. Make a list of all your monthly income sources and write down every expense, no matter how small, whether it's rent, utilities, subscriptions, or your morning coffee. Capturing all of these details gives you a clear picture of your financial landscape. Once you have this information, you can identify areas where you might be overspending or where you can make adjustments. This doesn't mean you have to cut out all the things you enjoy, but it's about being intentional. If you're spending more than you earn, you can begin to find ways to cut back or reallocate funds to savings or debt repayment. Financial awareness also means understanding your debts. How much do you owe and to whom? What interest rates are attached to your debts? Taking stock of your debt is crucial in developing a plan to reduce it and eventually become debt-free. The more awareness you have of your financial standing, the better decisions you can make to improve it. Budgeting is one of the cornerstones of financial wisdom. A budget is a tool that allows you to allocate your money in a way that reflects your priorities. It's a proactive approach to managing your income and expenses, helping you make conscious decisions about where your money goes. The goal of budgeting is not to restrict your enjoyment of life, but to ensure that you're living within your means and saving for future goals. A well-planned budget allows you to set aside money for necessities like rent and groceries, savings, debt repayment, and discretionary spending such as entertainment or dining out. It brings clarity to your finances and allows you to make smarter decisions with your money. The 50 to 20 rule is a simple budgeting guideline that many people find helpful. It suggests that you allocate. This rule can be adapted depending on your financial situation, but it's a good starting point to help guide your budgeting decisions. Budgeting also helps you prioritize what truly matters to you. It allows you to direct your money toward the things that align with your values, whether that's saving for a home, paying off debt, traveling, or investing in personal growth. Save and build an emergency fund. One of the most important aspects of financial wisdom is understanding the need for saving. It's not enough to simply cover your monthly expenses. You need to build a safety net to protect yourself against unexpected financial setbacks. This is where an emergency fund comes in. An emergency fund is money set aside for unexpected events. Things like medical emergencies, car repairs, or job loss. Financial experts typically recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved in an easily accessible account. While this may seem like a lot, it's essential to provide yourself with peace of mind and security in the face of uncertainty. The idea behind an emergency fund is to prevent you from having to rely on credit cards or loans when life throws you a curveball. When you have a cushion of savings, you reduce the financial stress that comes with unexpected expenses. Even if you start small, consistently contributing to your emergency fund is a powerful habit that provides long-term stability. Once your emergency fund is in place, it's important to continue saving for other financial goals. Whether it's saving for a home, retirement, or education, setting aside money for the future is critical in building wealth and financial freedom. Invest for the future. Saving is essential, but saving alone may not be enough to create lasting financial security. To build wealth over time, you need to invest. Investing allows your money to grow by taking advantage of compound interest and the appreciation of assets like stocks, bonds, and real estate. Investing can seem intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. The key is to start early and invest consistently. If you're new to investing, consider starting with low-cost index funds or mutual funds, which offer diversified exposure to the stock market. These investment options spread your money across a range of companies, reducing the risks of significant losses while still providing the potential for growth over time. One of the most powerful principles in investing is compound interest. The idea that the money you earn on your investments can itself earn money. The earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow, which can significantly impact your financial future. Additionally, consider taking advantage of retirement accounts such as a 401 or an IRA. These accounts offer tax benefits that can help you save for retirement while also growing your wealth over time. Manage debt wisely. Managing debt is another crucial component of financial wisdom. While some debt, like a mortgage or student loans, can be considered good debt because it's an investment in your future, high interest debt, such as credit card debt, can quickly become a financial burden. The key to managing debt is to pay it down as efficiently as possible. This means creating a plan to tackle high interest debt first, while also making regular payments on any other debts you may have. If possible, consider consolidating or refinancing debt to lower interest rates and simplify payments. Debt repayment requires discipline and patience, but it's one of the most effective ways to regain control over your finances and improve your financial future. Once your debts are cleared, you'll have more room in your budget to save, invest, and build wealth. Our mind is one of the most powerful tools we possess, yet it is also one of the most unpredictable and challenging aspects of our lives. Our thoughts shape our reality, influence our behavior, and directly impact our emotions. But too often, we allow our minds to control us rather than the other way around. We become prisoners of our thoughts, overwhelmed by worries, trapped by limiting beliefs, or bogged down by constant distractions. To truly thrive in life, we must take charge of our minds. Cultivating mental mastery is the key to not only achieving our goals, but also finding peace, resilience, and happiness within ourselves. Mental mastery is about gaining control over how we think, respond, and perceive the world. It's about training our minds to focus on what truly matters, managing negative thoughts, and building habits that enhance our mental well-being. Through the practice of mental mastery, we can break free from the mental patterns that limit us and create a mindset that serves us in the pursuit of our dreams. The power of the mind, understanding its influence. The mind is not just an organ, it is the center of our experiences, decisions, and perceptions. Our thoughts drive our actions, shape our emotions, and ultimately determine the quality of our lives. In fact, scientific research has shown that up to 80% of our daily thoughts are repetitive and often negative, which can create mental and emotional roadblocks. Our minds are constantly processing information and making judgments about the world around us. However, the mind doesn't always differentiate between what is true and what is imagined. This means that our thoughts can create stress and anxiety about situations that haven't even occurred, or lead us to believe limiting things about ourselves that aren't grounded in reality. We become conditioned by our mental habits, whether positive or negative. To cultivate mental mastery, we must first acknowledge the tremendous power of the mind. Understanding that our thoughts shape our reality gives us the awareness needed to take charge of our minds. Instead of letting our minds run wild, we can learn to direct our thinking in a way that aligns with our intentions and values. Self-awareness, the first step toward mental mastery. The journey to mental mastery begins with self-awareness, the ability to observe and understand our thoughts without becoming attached to them. Most of us are unaware of the constant stream of thoughts running through our heads. We may believe that our thoughts are facts or that they define who we are. But in reality, we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are simply mental events, and like clouds in the sky, they come and go. To cultivate self-awareness, we must learn to observe our thoughts without judgment. This involves practicing mindfulness, the art of being present in the moment without attachment or resistance. Mindfulness allows us to detach from the constant chatter of the mind and create a space where we can choose how to respond to our thoughts. Self-awareness helps us to recognize when we are being influenced by negative or unhelpful thoughts. For example, when we experience anxiety or fear, we can observe the thoughts behind those emotions and question their validity. Are they based on facts, or are they exaggerated fears of what might happen? By identifying unproductive thoughts, we can begin to challenge them and replace them with more constructive, empowering beliefs. The power of positive thinking, rewiring the mind for success. Once we develop self-awareness, the next step is to consciously reframe our thoughts. This involves replacing negative or limiting thoughts with positive, empowering ones. Positive thinking is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the possibilities rather than the obstacles, on solutions rather than problems. Our minds have a natural tendency to gravitate toward negativity. This is known as the negativity bias, a psychological phenomenon where our brains are wired to focus more on negative experiences than positive ones. While this was once an evolutionary survival mechanism, it can hinder our mental well-being in today's world. To cultivate mental mastery, we must counterbalance this bias by intentionally nurturing positive thoughts. One of the most effective ways to cultivate positive thinking is through affirmations. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that reinforce our desired mindset and beliefs. By repeating affirmations, we rewire our brains to focus on what we want to create rather than what we fear. For example, if you struggle with self-doubt, you might repeat affirmations like, "I am capable," or "I trust in my abilities." Another powerful tool for fostering positive thinking is visualization. Visualization involves imagining yourself successfully achieving your goals and experiencing the positive emotions associated with that success. When you visualize, you are not only programming your mind for success, but you are also cultivating a sense of confidence and motivation that propels you toward your desired outcomes. Emotional control, harnessing the power of your feelings. Emotions are a natural part of the human experience, and they can be powerful indicators of how we are perceiving the world. However, without mental mastery, emotions can also be overwhelming and uncontrollable. Unregulated emotions can lead to impulsive decisions, strained relationships, and unhealthy coping mechanisms. To truly master our minds, we must learn to harness the power of our emotions. The first step in emotional control is emotional awareness. This means tuning into our emotions as they arise, identifying their source, and recognizing the underlying thoughts that drive them. Once we understand the root of our emotions, we can take steps to manage them effectively. Emotional control is not about suppressing or ignoring our feelings. It's about creating space to feel, process, and respond to them in a healthy way. One technique for emotional control is deep breathing. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps calm the body and mind. By focusing on slow, deliberate breaths, we can reduce the intensity of overwhelming emotions and create a sense of inner peace. Another powerful method for emotional regulation is cognitive reframing. This technique involves looking at a situation from a different perspective in order to shift the emotional response. For example, if you feel angry about a setback, you might reframe the situation by asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can this challenge help me grow?" Reframing helps transform negative emotions into opportunities for personal growth and learning. Focus and discipline, training your mind for success. Mental mastery requires focus and discipline. In today's fast-paced, information-saturated world, it's easy for our minds to become scattered and distracted. We constantly jump from one task to another, checking our phones, multitasking, and rarely giving our full attention to the present moment. This lack of focus can undermine our productivity, diminish our well-being, and prevent us from achieving our goals. To cultivate mental mastery, we must learn to train our minds to focus on what truly matters. This involves eliminating distractions and setting clear, intentional goals. When we focus on a single task or objective, we are able to channel our energy and attention toward it, resulting in greater efficiency and effectiveness. One technique for improving focus is time blocking. Time blocking involves scheduling specific periods of time for particular tasks, ensuring that you give each task your full attention. During these blocks, you eliminate distractions, such as checking your phone or browsing social media, and dedicate yourself entirely to the task at hand. Another strategy for improving focus is mindfulness meditation. Meditation trains the mind to stay present and centered, reducing the tendency for the mind to wander. Regular meditation practice helps improve concentration, reduces stress, and enhances overall mental clarity. Building resilience, developing a growth mindset. Resilience is an essential component of mental mastery. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. Our ability to bounce back from adversity is a direct reflection of the strength of our mind. People with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, practice, and learning. In contrast, people with a fixed mindset believe that their talents and intelligence are static and cannot be changed. By cultivating a growth mindset, we embrace challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to our self-worth. We view failure as a stepping stone on the path to success, rather than as a reflection of our inadequacy. This mindset empowers us to persevere in the face of difficulties, knowing that we can always improve and learn from our experiences. One way to build resilience is by reframing failure. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear, we can view it as valuable feedback. When things don't go as planned, ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? How can I do better next time? Resilient individuals use setbacks as opportunities to build strength and grow. The role of self-care nurturing your mind. Mental mastery is not just about controlling thoughts and emotions, it's also about nurturing and taking care of our mental health. Self-care plays a critical role in maintaining mental well-being. When we prioritize our mental health, we create the foundation for a strong, resilient mind. Self-care practices like getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, eating nourishing foods, and managing stress all contribute to better mental health. By taking care of our body, we also take care of our mind. Moreover, engaging in activities that bring us joy, such as hobbies, socializing, or spending time in nature, can help replenish our mental energy and foster a positive mindset. Conclusion: mental mastery as a lifelong practice. Cultivating mental mastery is an ongoing journey. It's not about achieving perfection, but about developing the awareness, tools, and strategies to guide our minds toward greater peace, clarity, and focus. Through consistent practice, we can train our minds to respond to challenges with resilience, to overcome negative thought patterns, and to stay focused on what truly matters. Mental mastery is about becoming the master of your thoughts rather than letting them master you. It's about creating a mindset that supports your goals, enhances your well-being, and empowers you to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. With patience. You said self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools we have for personal growth, self-awareness, and understanding. It is the practice of taking time to thoughtfully examine our thoughts, actions, behaviors, and emotions to gain deeper insight into ourselves. This introspective process allows us to pause, step back from the busyness of daily life, and evaluate our choices, values, and goals with clarity. Self-reflection provides us with the space to understand our past experiences, learn from them, and determine how we want to move forward in our lives. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in different directions through technology, work demands, and social expectations, self-reflection offers us an opportunity to slow down, become present, and reconnect with our inner selves. It is through this practice that we can cultivate a deeper understanding of who we are, what we truly want, and how we can create the life we envision. Self-reflection is not merely a passive activity. It is an active, dynamic process that encourages us to critically assess our lives and make intentional choices about the future. The importance of self-reflection and personal growth. Personal growth is about evolving into the best version of ourselves. To grow, we must first understand where we currently stand, our strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. Without self-reflection, we risk stagnating or continuing to repeat the same patterns without ever truly learning from our experiences. Self-reflection allows us to identify what's working and what's not. By looking back on our actions and behaviors, we can recognize habits that are serving us well and those that may be limiting our potential. It helps us identify opportunities for growth, clarify our values, and set more meaningful goals. Through reflection, we develop a greater sense of self-awareness that empowers us to make conscious, informed decisions that align with our true desires. For example, after a significant experience or challenge, whether it's a professional setback, a relationship issue, or a personal achievement, self-reflection provides the space to process what happened, understand our reactions, and consider how we might approach similar situations differently in the future. By regularly practicing self-reflection, we begin to form a deeper connection with our inner wisdom, which guides us toward becoming more emotionally intelligent, resilient, and self-assured. The benefits of self-reflection. Self-reflection is a tool that brings numerous benefits to our personal and professional lives. These benefits include increased self-awareness. Self-reflection is a gateway to knowing oneself. By regularly reflecting on our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, we gain a better understanding of who we are, what motivates us, and what we truly value. This self-awareness allows us to make choices that are aligned with our authentic selves, rather than being influenced by external pressures or unconscious biases. To improve decision-making, when we reflect on our past decisions and their outcomes, we develop the ability to make better, more thoughtful choices in the future. Self-reflection helps us identify patterns in our decision-making process, whether they are healthy or harmful, and make adjustments that lead to better results. It enables us to approach future situations with more clarity, confidence, and intentionality. Emotional regulation. Through self-reflection, we can learn to recognize our emotions as they arise and understand their root causes. By understanding why we feel a certain way, we can prevent emotional reactions from controlling our behavior. This emotional intelligence helps us respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, which improves our relationships and reduces stress. Greater accountability. Reflecting on our actions holds us accountable for the choices we make. It encourages us to take responsibility for our behavior rather than blaming external factors or other people. This sense of accountability fosters a mindset of personal ownership, where we feel empowered to take control of our lives and make positive changes. Enhanced problem-solving. Self-reflection allows us to analyze challenges and obstacles from different perspectives. By reflecting on the ways we've approached problems in the past, we can gain new insights into more effective strategies. This ability to think critically and creatively enhances our problem-solving skills and helps us navigate difficulties with greater ease. Improved relationships. When we take the time to reflect on our interactions with others, we gain valuable insights into our communication styles, triggers, and patterns of behavior. This awareness allows us to improve our relationships by making conscious efforts to listen, empathize, and respond thoughtfully. Self-reflection also helps us identify how we can show up more authentically in our relationships, which leads to deeper connections and greater understanding. Increased resilience. Reflection helps us process and learn from our challenges. When we reflect on times of adversity, we can identify the lessons we've learned and how we've grown from those experiences. This process of making meaning out of hardship increases our resilience, making us better equipped to handle future challenges with strength and grace. The process of self-reflection. Self-reflection is not about self-judgment or criticism. It's about observing, understanding, and learning. To practice self-reflection effectively, it's important to create a safe, non-judgmental space where you can be honest with yourself and approach your thoughts with curiosity rather than fear. The process of self-reflection can take many forms, and it's important to find the method that works best for you. Here are several key steps to guide the process. Set aside time in our busy lives. It's easy to neglect self-reflection. Make time in your schedule to pause and reflect. This could be a few minutes each day or a longer session once a week. The key is consistency. The more regularly you reflect, the more you will benefit from the practice. Ask yourself thought-provoking questions. Reflecting on open-ended questions helps guide your thinking and brings clarity. Some examples of self-reflection questions include: what did I learn today? How did I respond to challenges this week and why? What actions or decisions made me feel proud or satisfied? What are my strengths and how can I build on them? Where do I feel stuck and what might be preventing me from moving forward? How are my actions aligned with my core values? Journal your thoughts. Writing is a powerful tool for self-reflection. Journaling allows you to organize your thoughts, process emotions, and uncover insights that might not be immediately apparent. Writing about your experiences and feelings gives you a tangible way to track your growth over time. It also provides a space for you to explore your inner dialogue and challenge negative thought patterns. Examine your behavior. Self-reflection involves taking an honest look at how you've acted in various situations. Consider your choices, reactions, and communication. Ask yourself if you would have acted differently in hindsight and what you can learn from those experiences. This process can help you make more intentional decisions in the future and break free from old, unhelpful habits. Identify patterns and themes. Look for recurring themes or patterns in your reflections. Are there certain areas of your life where you consistently experience frustration or dissatisfaction? Are there recurring successes or positive behaviors that you can build on? By identifying these patterns, you can develop strategies to reinforce the positive and address the negative. Take action. Reflection is only useful if it leads to action. Once you've gained insights through self-reflection, use that knowledge to make positive changes. Whether it's setting new goals, changing a behavior, or seeking personal growth opportunities, take actionable steps toward becoming the person you want to be. Overcoming in today's world, we are often taught that success is achieved through flawless execution, immediate results, and a picture-perfect outcome. Social media, popular culture, and even personal ambition often create the illusion that we must be perfect in every aspect of our lives, our careers, relationships, appearance, and goals. This belief can lead to unnecessary stress, frustration, and self-doubt when we inevitably fall short of this unattainable standard. However, the true path to lasting success and personal fulfillment doesn't lie in perfection, but in consistent discipline. Discipline is the ability to maintain focus, stick to a plan, and keep moving forward, even when things aren't going perfectly. It's about making steady progress toward your goals, not waiting for the perfect moment or for every circumstance to align perfectly. When we prioritize discipline over perfection, we free ourselves from the pressure to be flawless and instead empower ourselves to stay committed, learn from mistakes, and make continuous improvements. Is understanding the difference between discipline and perfection. While discipline and perfection may seem similar on the surface, they are fundamentally different in how they influence our lives. Perfection is about an ideal outcome, where everything must align just right. It is an external standard, often shaped by societal expectations, comparisons, or our own unrealistic goals. Perfection is subjective, and because it is based on an elusive and ever-changing ideal, it's an outcome that is nearly impossible to achieve. Discipline, on the other hand, is the practice of doing what needs to be done, regardless of the outcome. It's about showing up, taking action, and staying committed even when the results don't happen immediately or exactly as planned. Discipline is grounded in consistency, effort, and persistence. Unlike perfection, discipline doesn't demand flawless execution. It simply asks that we keep going, learn from setbacks, and stay focused on the process. For example, if your goal is to get healthier, perfection might look like having the perfect diet and exercise routine every single day without fail. When you inevitably miss a workout or indulge in an unhealthy meal, perfection can lead to frustration, self-criticism, and even giving up. Discipline, however, focuses on getting back on track after a setback. If you miss a workout, discipline says, "It's okay, I'll try again tomorrow." If you eat an unhealthy meal, discipline encourages you to make a better choice at the next opportunity, rather than throwing in the towel and labeling the whole effort a failure. The pressure of perfection, a trap of self-doubt and inaction. One of the major challenges of striving for perfection is the pressure it creates. The desire to get everything right can become paralyzing. The fear of making mistakes or falling short can prevent us from even starting. This all or nothing mindset can lead to procrastination, because if we believe we can't do something perfectly, we might hesitate to try at all. Perfectionism often stems from an inner fear of failure or judgment. We may be afraid that if we don't meet certain standards, others will see us as inadequate or unworthy. This fear can keep us stuck in a cycle of overthinking, over-preparation, and hesitation, which ultimately prevents us from moving forward or making meaningful progress. The pursuit of perfection also undermines creativity and innovation. When we are fixated on doing something flawlessly, we stifle our ability to experiment, take risks, and embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. The fear of imperfection can make us less willing to try new things or step outside our comfort zones. On the other hand, when we shift our focus from perfection to discipline, we remove the pressure of having to get everything right the first time. Instead of fearing failure, we begin to see it as an essential part of the process. With discipline, we embrace challenges and setbacks as opportunities to grow, learn, and adjust. This mindset allows us to take action even when we don't feel 100% ready, which ultimately leads to more consistent progress and success over time. The power of consistency, small steps add up. Discipline is not about making huge leaps all at once, but about making small, consistent efforts toward our goals. It's the little things done consistently that have the greatest impact over time. This is the principle of the compound effect, the idea that small, repeated actions lead to big results. For example, if you are working toward financial independence, you don't need to make huge investments every day. Instead, you can start with small steps like setting aside a small percentage of your income each month or reducing unnecessary expenses. Over time, these small actions will accumulate into significant savings and investments that will compound and grow. Likewise, in the realm of fitness, the goal doesn't need to be about working out for hours each day. Consistent, moderate exercise, whether it's a daily walk, yoga, or strength training session, can lead to long-term health improvements when maintained over time. Discipline encourages us to focus on the process rather than obsessing over an idealized, perfect outcome. The key to success is not necessarily getting everything right all at once, but making progress step by step. When we commit to doing our best in each moment, the results naturally follow. Overcoming obstacles, learning from mistakes. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its resilience in the face of challenges and setbacks. Perfectionism often leads to a fear of making mistakes, which can create a mental barrier that prevents us from taking action. When we prioritize discipline in today's fast-paced and interconnected world, it can feel like there is never enough time or space for ourselves. We are constantly pulled in multiple directions by work, family, friends, social obligations, and technology. In this environment, it's easy to overlook one of the most essential components of personal well-being and healthy relationships: boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines we draw around ourselves to protect our time, energy, emotions, and values. They define what we are willing to accept and what we are not, both from others and from ourselves. Without clear boundaries, we risk burnout, resentment, and a sense of losing our individuality. Learning to create and maintain boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-care, and it is crucial for both personal growth and the health of our relationships. The importance of boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining balance and harmony in our lives. They serve as guidelines for how we interact with the world and the people around us, ensuring that our needs and well-being are respected. Without boundaries, we may find ourselves overextended, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. We might agree to things we don't want to do, say yes when we mean no, or neglect our own needs in favor of others. This can lead to a cycle of stress, resentment, and dissatisfaction. Clear boundaries allow us to take ownership of our time, energy, and emotional resources. They help us prioritize what is important to us and create the space we need to focus on our goals, passions, and self-care. Boundaries also protect our emotional well-being by ensuring that we do not allow others to take advantage of us or infringe upon our sense of self. They help preserve our sense of autonomy and ensure that our relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. Types of boundaries, understanding what you need. Boundaries can take many different forms depending on the context of the relationship or situation. Here are a few common types of boundaries that people may need to establish. Physical boundaries, these refer to your personal space and physical needs. For example, you might set boundaries around how much physical contact is comfortable for you or how much time you need alone to recharge. Physical boundaries also extend to how others treat your personal belongings and space. Emotional boundaries involve recognizing and respecting your emotional needs and limits. This type of boundary helps protect you from being emotionally overwhelmed by others' feelings or behaviors. It means acknowledging your emotions and taking responsibility for your own emotional well-being rather than trying to manage or control the emotions of others. Time boundaries. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, and setting clear boundaries around how we spend our time is essential for our productivity and mental health. Time boundaries involve saying no to commitments that don't align with our priorities, allocating time for self-care, and ensuring that we have enough downtime to recharge. Mental boundaries protect your thoughts, beliefs, and opinions. This type of boundary helps you distinguish between your own ideas and the influence of others. It allows you to maintain your autonomy and avoid being manipulated or coerced into adopting someone else's viewpoint. Material boundaries. These boundaries involve your physical possessions and resources. Setting material boundaries means deciding what you are willing to share, lend, or give away, as well as determining when it's necessary to protect your belongings from being used without your permission. Relationship boundaries. In relationships, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners, boundaries help define the expectations and limits that are acceptable to both parties. These boundaries help ensure that you feel respected, supported, and understood in your relationships while maintaining your individual identity and needs. Why boundaries are essential for mental health. Creating space for boundaries is crucial for maintaining good mental health. Boundaries serve as a safeguard against emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and depression by protecting our time, energy, and well-being. Without clear boundaries, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the demands of others or by the pressure to meet external expectations. When we fail to set boundaries, we often end up taking on too much, sacrificing our own needs for the sake of others. This can lead to burnout, stress, and resentment. For example, saying yes to every request from friends or coworkers may leave us feeling exhausted, stretched thin, and disconnected from our own desires and priorities. Constantly putting others' needs before our own can create a balance that leaves us feeling empty, frustrated, and even resentful. Establishing healthy boundaries allows us to protect our emotional energy and prevent feelings of overwhelm. When we make space for ourselves, we have the capacity to better cope with life's challenges, set healthier emotional limits, and respond to stress in a more balanced way. Boundaries help us take control of our mental health by allowing us to create the space we need to rest, recover, and engage in activities that nourish our mind and body. Boundaries and relationships, building respect and trust. Boundaries are not just about protecting ourselves, they also play a vital role in building healthy, respectful relationships. When we communicate our boundaries clearly to others, we invite them to understand our needs, preferences, and limits. This transparency fosters trust and mutual respect. In relationships, boundaries allow both parties to feel safe and valued. They create an environment in which each person's needs and feelings are considered and respected. Without boundaries, relationships can become imbalanced, with one person giving too much or the other taking too much. This can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, or emotional fatigue. For example, in a romantic relationship, setting boundaries around personal space, time for hobbies, and emotional support helps each partner maintain their individuality while still nurturing the relationship. In friendships, boundaries might involve saying no when you don't have the emotional energy to support a friend, or asking for space when you need time to focus on personal matters. Establishing these limits ensures that both parties feel heard, respected, and valued rather than overburdened or neglected. Overcoming the guilt of setting boundaries. One of the most common challenges people face when setting boundaries is guilt. We may feel guilty for saying no, for taking time for ourselves, or for setting limits with others. We might worry that we will disappoint or upset the people we care about, or that we'll be perceived as selfish or unkind. However, it's important to remember that setting boundaries is not about being selfish, it's about honoring our own needs and creating a space in which we can show up as our best selves. When we set healthy boundaries, we are actually better equipped to show up for others in a meaningful way because we are prioritizing our own well-being. We can only give from a place of abundance, and when we allow ourselves the time and space to recharge, we have more to offer to those around us. Additionally, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is a healthy and necessary practice, not only for ourselves, but for the people in our lives as well. By communicating our needs and limits, we help others understand how to interact with us in ways that are respectful and supportive. While it may be uncomfortable at first, the long-term benefits of setting boundaries far outweigh the temporary discomfort. Practical steps to create space for boundaries. Creating space for boundaries requires conscious effort and practice. Here are some practical steps you can take to begin setting and honoring your boundaries. Identify your needs. The first step in creating space for boundaries is understanding what you need to feel safe, respected, and fulfilled. Reflect on areas of your life where you feel overwhelmed, drained, or taken advantage of. Consider what needs to change to create a healthier balance between giving and receiving. Communicate clearly. Once you've identified your boundaries, it's important to communicate them clearly to others. This might involve saying no to requests, setting expectations for your time, or expressing your emotional needs. Be assertive but respectful, and remember that it's okay to stand firm in your decisions. Practice self-care. Making time for self-care is an essential aspect of boundary setting. Prioritize activities that help you recharge and nurture your mind, body, and soul. Whether it's meditation, exercise, reading, or spending time with loved ones, ensure that you are carving out space for activities that support your well-being. Learn to say no. One of the most powerful tools for setting boundaries is the ability to say no. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It simply means that you are honoring your own needs and limitations. Practice saying no in a way that is clear, firm, and respectful. Be prepared for pushback. When you begin setting boundaries, you may encounter resistance from others, especially if they are used to you saying yes to everything. Be prepared for this and stay consistent. Trust that your boundaries are essential for your well-being, and don't allow guilt or pressure to derail your efforts. Reassess and adjust. Boundaries are not set in stone. They may evolve over time based on your needs and circumstances. Periodically reassess your boundaries to ensure they are still serving you well, and make adjustments as necessary. By creating space for boundaries in your life, you are taking an important step toward protecting your mental, emotional, and physical health. Boundaries allow you to honor yourself, prioritize your well-being, and build stronger, more respectful relationships with others. In closing, remember that creating space for boundaries is not an act of exclusion or selfishness. It's an act of self-respect and self-care. By setting clear boundaries, we protect our time, energy, and emotions, allowing us to show up as our best selves for both ourselves and others. Boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships, personal growth, and overall well-being. As you move forward, remember that it's okay to say no when necessary, to prioritize your needs, and to create space for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. It's okay to take the time you need to protect your peace. When you honor your own boundaries, you are also teaching others to respect them, and in turn, you create a more balanced, fulfilling life. So I challenge you to start today. Identify the areas of your life where boundaries need to be set. Communicate them with confidence and clarity. Trust that in doing so, you are not only creating space for yourself, but for stronger, more meaningful relationships and a deeper connection to your own sense of well-being. Remember, boundaries are not a barrier, they are the space in which you can thrive. Protect that space, nurture it, and allow yourself the freedom to live fully without guilt, without apology. Thank you.